Individual Dissipation of Glamour, Preparation and Formula. Identifying and naming the glamour, following the stages of preparation, using the technique of light according to Master DK's Instructions in Glamour, a World Problem by Alice Bailey. Keep in mind, you will have to exercise the deepest watchfulness in the endeavor to work thus on the astral plane, holding simultaneously the attitude of the observer on the high plane of the soul. No constructive work and no service of vital importance can be rendered in this difficult sphere of activity unless there is a detached and deliberated attitude. You are to work in one of the most difficult spheres of activity, perhaps the most difficult to which a disciple can be called, and hence the advisability of working there in group formation. I cannot emphasize too strongly that you are to work as a group and not as individuals. Lifting the solar plexus to the heart and then to the heart and the head, first as an individual, then as a group, aids exponentially in developing the attitude and also the altitude of the observer as the soul informing the group mind, sustaining and anchoring the impersonal love of the soul through self-forgetfulness, harmlessness, and right speech. Alignment. Before we begin, let us align as soul. And as a group. And see our group approaching Master DK's study. We sound the mantra of group fusion. I am one with my group brothers, and all that I have is theirs. May the love which is in my soul pour forth to them. May the strength which is in me lift and aid them. May the thoughts which my soul creates reach and encourage them. Take a moment in silence to name the glamour that you will focus on in the preparatory stages to become more aware of how that glamour is a hindrance in your life, in your experience. This involves cooperation with the soul, engaging your physical, astral, and mental awareness. Name the glamour. Breathe in effortlessly and easily. see our group moving through the field of lotus blossoms, lining our path towards Master Decay's study. We pause at the ivory door, which opens as the Master greets us and invites us in for our contemplative approach to advancing as a discipleship group into the study and dissipation of glamour as individuals, supported by this group. We stand around Master Decay and see 3 windows filled with light. We stand in silence as he turns and faces the east. Together we enter into this point of light. We enter into a beam of directed, focused light, revealing a greater light and illumining the way to the center of the light, directing our way. I am the soul. I am light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. Preparatory stages. Let us sound the protective formula, using the sign of the cross of divinity by touching the forehead, the middle of the chest, the left eye, the right eye. The members of the group say in unison, forehead. As a soul, I work in light. Chest. And darkness cannot touch me. Left eye. I take my stand within the light. Right eye. I work, and from that point I never move. Formula for the dissipation of glamour for the individual. Preparatory stages. Pause to recognize the glamour to be dissipated. This involves a willingness to cooperate with the soul in physical, astral, and mental ways in order to aid in the more technical work. Ponder on the implications in this sentence in relation to your current state of being and identification. It also involves to recognize the ways in which this glamour affects the daily life and all relationships. Recognize the two aspects of preparedness. Align the personality. See the three aspects of the lower nature as constituting one functioning personality. Integrating soul and personality. See the personality and the soul as a unit. This is done through the dedication of the personality to the soul and its acceptance by the soul. These two lines of thinking produce a field of magnetic thought and realization in which all the work is done. Prepare for the three stages of focusing to be undertaken. Focus the light of the mind and the light of matter in the mental vehicle. This is done by a process of lifting up and of blending and fusing, employing the activity of the creative imagination. The light of the mind and the light of the matter in the mental vehicle. Meditate on soul light, bringing about the fusion of the light of matter, light in the atoms of the brain, the light of the mind, and the light of the soul upon the mental plane. Realize the three lights as one unified light, a searchlight ready to be turned in the needed direction. Pausing to focus the spiritual will, holding the mind steady in the light. Pausing to brace oneself for the work to be done. From a profound preoccupation with soul contact and initial preparation, now focus the attentive mind upon the glamour to be eradicated. This is not involving a consciousness of the glamour and its why and wherefore, but a turning of the attention of the integrated soul personality to the astral plane and the particular glamour. The attention is not turned to the astral body in seeking to do the work. This is a statement of major importance because in destroying the peculiar type of glamour with which one is concerned, one begins to destroy their share in it, that in them which gives contact with the glamour, and at the same time prepares them for group service along the same line. This will not prove an easy task. The technique or formula. Act, act of the creative imagination. By an act of the creative imagination, endeavor to see and hear the soul, the source of light and power in the three worlds. Breathe out the Om, inaudibly, into the mind of the attentive waiting personality. Fusing and blending the light of the soul with the dual light of the personality. There, the light and power of the soul is retained and held by the positive personality, for a negative attitude is not desirable. The retained light and power, combined with the dual light of the personality, focused as we know on the mental plane, is seen generating an intense light, which can be visualized as a searchlight of great brilliance and strength. It must be seen as a sphere of vivid, brilliant light, but not yet radiating out or projecting outwards. Act of visualization. The light is one, and in that light shall we see light. This is the light which turns the darkness into day. When this act of visualization is deemed to be satisfactorily accomplished, a pause then ensues wherein all the will one has is focused behind the light, thus created by the fusion of the three lights. This refers to the stage spoken of by Patanjali as that of the mind held steady in the light. This use of the will, soul personality will, is dynamic, but at this stage quiescent and not magnetic or radiatory. Next, following a process wherein the glamour to be dissipated and the searchlight of the mind are brought into relationship by the power of thought. The glamour and its quality, and the searchlight and its power are recognized to be as they are, and the effect or effects to be brought about by that relationship are carefully thought out. This must not be done in such a way that the mind process, light and power will strengthen the already powerful glamour. It must be done in such a way that at the close of the process, the glamour will be appreciably weakened and eventually dissipated. This is an important realization. Radiance we are, and power. We stand forever with our hands stretched out, linking the heavens and the earth, the inner world of meaning and the subtle world of glamour. We reach into the light and bring it down to meet the need. We reach into the silent place and bring from thence the gift of understanding. Thus with the light we work and turn the darkness into day. Having as far as possible achieved the needed concentration, realization, and relationship, then, by an act of the will and of the creative imagination, turning on the searchlight and seeing a vivid beam of light stream forth and pierce the glamour. Visualizing a broad, brilliant beam pouring forth from the illumined mind onto the astral plane. Believe that this is so. The act of affirmation. Now comes an important and difficult phase of the work in which the glamour is named and seen in process of dissipation. Aid the process by saying at a point of tension, focused, immovable will, and inaudibly, the power of the light prevents the appearance of the glamour, naming the glamour. The power of the light negates the quality of the glamour from affecting me. The power of the light destroys the life behind the glamour. This constitutes an affirmation of power and of purpose, enunciated at a point of tension, with the mind held in steadiness and with a positive orientation, addressing all three aspects of the glamour: life, quality, and appearance. The act of penetration. Again, the sacred word is sounded inaudibly, with intent to produce what in occult parlance is called an act of penetration. The light is then seen accomplishing three things: making a definite impact upon the glamour. The light is then seen penetrating the glamour and being absorbed by it. The light is then seen dissipating the glamour slowly. As time elapses, the glamour will never again be so powerful and will eventually disappear altogether. The act of withdrawal. Now begin the process of withdrawing. The aspirant consciously and deliberately withdraws the beam of light and reorients upon the mental plane. The aspirant will withdraw from the high plane of the soul and focus in the mind. Sound the Om inaudibly as a group. Sound the Om inaudibly as the self. So let it be, and help me to do my part. Close with the affirmation of the disciple. I am a point of light within a greater light. I am a strand of loving energy within the stream of love divine. I am a point of sacrificial fire, focused within the fiery will of God, and thus I stand. I am a way by which men may achieve. I am a source of strength, enabling them to stand. I am a beam of light shining upon their way, and thus I stand. And standing thus revolve and tread this way the ways of men, and know the ways of God. And thus I stand. We sound in unison to affirm together as we move out into our physical, astral, and mental blended personality expression, our pledge to live as the one soul, the adapted group soul mantra. We are one with our group brothers and sisters, and all that we have is theirs. May the love which is in the soul pour forth to them. May the strength which is in us as part of the one soul lift and aid them. May the thoughts which the one soul creates through us reach and encourage them. Though every true aspirant, as he grasps the magnitude of the plan and surveys the forces arrayed against him, may be overcome by the apparent futility of his effort and the seeming smallness of the part he plays, let him remember that there is a steadily growing group of those similar to him, and that this is a group effort. Under the law, the great ones work through their disciples in all countries, and never before have there been so many endeavoring to fit themselves for this function of being transmitters of the purpose. And never before has there existed such a strong inner integrity and subjective relation between workers in all fields, in all parts of the world. For the first time in history is there a coherent group for the masters to use. Heretofore, there have been lonely, isolated workers or tiny detached groups, and this has greatly hampered the work. Now this has changed. I want to charge you all to realize this and to work to substantiate this group integrity and to develop the power to recognize all such workers everywhere under any name or organization and to cooperate with them when so recognized. This is no easy thing to do. Now leading up to the next meeting to April 15th. Here are two questions to be pondered. How is my individual glamour potentially having an effect on our group integrity. And is there another glamour that emerges when I ponder on my gift waves offered to the group field? So ponder on these questions. You can, but no one needs to share out loud or in the chat. But each is encouraged to use the altitude of the observer to note and to decide, is there another glamour that required dissipation?